Hey everyone, Daniel here. I am the creator of the relationship model of addiction. Today, I want to talk about what is self. You have heard previously from me, there's a couple of real basic principles that a lot of my work is based on. You heard me say this a number of times, that what a relationship is. How I define a healthy relationship is that it consists of two separate autonomous entities, two separate selves, me and you, that build the bridge of understanding that make an us. You also heard me talk a lot about a whole stage of recovery, the second stage of recovery, which is what? Developing a relationship with yourself. This is a very, very key part of life, part of recovery, and part of having intimate relationships and being able to create connections with other people. You need to have a self. I've also said that the quality of your relationships is a function of the quality of the relationship you have with yourself. So I don't think I've ever taken the time to just kind of talk about what is self. I mean, this is so powerful. The self is so important to me. And I'm talking about self with a capital S, self. So I'm going to now talk about, I have so many different ideas and ways to go with self. And so you could really understand and appreciate it, what it means to you, and then look for it and find it within. First, one of the definitions that I have for what is self, the answer to that question is that it's a unique, energetic configuration. It's a unique, that means there's no one like you that, there's no one. Unique is that this energetic configuration, this experience, is one of a kind. It's never existed before, it's never going to exist anywhere else with anyone else. It's only what you're going through right here, right now. It's totally unique. And when I talk about energetic, I'm implying that it's not physical. So even though it's not physical, it's still very much real. It's energetic. So you can't quite put your finger on it, but there is, whether it's cells, whatever it is, there's something cohesive and autonomous and separate. It's an entity unto itself. And so that's kind of a starting point where it's kind of abstract, but just think of it as a unique energetic configuration that energetic is no less real than physical. It's not bodily like this, where you could touch it and feel it, and it's not words, it's an experience, it's there. And this unique part about it is what makes you special. It's your gift. It's the key to your power. It's the key to your aliveness. It's the key to the quality of your life and relationships. This energetic configuration. So moving along now, another way of understanding self, and this is in a kind of a different track right now. When I was in graduate school, and my graduate school was the California Institute of Integral Studies, where it was what was unique about the school was that it combined Eastern philosophy with Western psychology. So I learned a lot about Buddhism, meditation, mindfulness. But I learned a concept that is a very core concept in Buddhism, and that is Dharma. You may have heard about Dharma. And Dharma, like self, is a term and a concept that's interpreted it's interpreted in a million different ways. It's very hard to talk about it because it means different things to different people. But I found with all the different ways, if you ask 100 people what self is or what Dharma is, you might get 100 different answers. But for me, it's something very personal, very deep, very meaningful, and very specific. And what I got from what Dharma means is that it's your life's purpose. Dharma is your life's purpose. So when they say, are you living your Dharma? That means to me, am I living what my life's purpose is, which means what am I here to do? What is it that I want? What kind of person do I want to be? What kind of life do I want to have? And pursue that. And I think a lot of that has to do, for me, is about making a difference in the world, affecting people in a way, moving people in a way where they get more in touch with themselves. And I also, my purpose in life is to make deep connections with people. So for me, this is something that's inside of me, that comes from within me, and that drives my behavior, how I relate, what I do. Everything follows from this Dharma. And I think that Dharma is one part of self. It doesn't encompass the whole kit and caboodle of what self is, but it's a very important part of self, and that is your life purpose. What are you doing here? Who are you? What do you want to be? What do you want to do? How do you want to be in relation to other people? How connected are you to how grounded are you on the ground that you walk, and what do you want to do, and how do you want to be? That's Dharma. Okay, so that's another way of thinking about self. Now I'm going to talk, there's another way that I teach and talk about self, which this is really the way to understand it and use it and manifest it in your life. So, and you've heard me talk about this before, I am sure. But now I'm going to talk about it again in terms of what is self. Okay, the self consists of three experiences, or three factors, three pieces of self. One is awareness. So self begins with awareness. Awareness means simply that whether the light of awareness is on inside of you, you can be aware of what's going on inside of you. It's in being awakened. We all have this. This is not something that you have to develop. This is not something you have to obtain. This is something that you're born with. We are all born with it. We have it inside of us, this gift and this awareness, but how much we don't know that we have it, a lot of us. So we have to learn that we have this. And once we start becoming aware that we are aware, of becoming aware of our awareness, then a whole world of our inside, our inner world, opens up from this awareness. Because the more aware you are, the more aware you'll be of what your experience is, of everything that's going on inside of you. And this is the second piece of self. It's what your experience is. Now, experience, wow, there's so much going on inside of you that you will begin to identify and appreciate from awareness, that you don't know what you got going on inside of you. There's so much going on inside of you. We could ranging from just some of the things that I'm talking about now or referring to are your thoughts. What am I thinking right now? What am I feeling right now? What am I wanting right now? What's going on inside of me? Just there's intuition going on inside of me. There's judgments going on inside of me. There's all kinds of reactions that I have going on inside of me that I can't even put words to a lot of the times. I can't even capture the full breadth of experience that's going on inside of me. But it is rich, and it is deep, and it is varied, and it's all kinds of experience. Just think of your intuition. Think of how you perceive other people, and how you respond in different situations, whether it's things that, well, I'm going to get to that in a minute, the things that you do and what you say. But your experience is, you open up Pandora's box, you open the door with your awareness, and there you see, you got a lot going on inside of you. It is active, it is dynamic, it is powerful, it is rich, it is deep, and it is infinite. There is so much going on inside of you. But a lot of times, our attention is elsewhere. We may not be aware of our awareness, and we may be more focused on external other people and places and things, and not really tuned in to what our inner experience is. So this is so far awareness and experience are two of the key components of what self is. The third one is action. Now, when you are aware of what your experience is, then you act from that place. And this goes back to the Dharma concept also, that where are you coming from when you act? So by acting is things that you do and things that you say. So this is where you become alive. This is where your self manifests, is when you act. And again, I mean something you do, your behavior, or is something you say, well, it comes out of your mouth. Those are the two kinds of actions that come to my mind. When you're acting, that is when you're doing things in your life or when you're relating to another person, and you're manifesting yourself, and you're coming from a place that's your inner experience. I'm talking about what your truth is. I'm talking about being able to represent yourself, express yourself in a way that's congruent with what's going on inside of you. So you're able to represent your truth, and you are also acting in your own interests. When you act, everything you say, everything you do in your life is coming from a connection with yourself and an awareness of what's best for me, what's in my best interests. How is this, what is it, how is this going to, what's conducive for my well-being and my health and my joy, and what is my truth? And when you come from that place, you are defining yourself, you're putting yourself out there in a way that you could be known, a way that you could be gotten, a way that you could be experienced. And also that same place is of, when you're tuned into yourself, you can also resonate with other people's selves. This goes back to what I was saying about a relationship as two separate selves. So when you are connected to yourself, you will attract other people who are connected to themselves, who also have a self. So that's kind of what I want to leave you with right now. Just the last part about action, when you're talking about, so you have awareness, experience, and action. This is in contrast to reaction. Reaction is when you say or do things that you're kind of on automatic, or you're externally based in your reaction. You're not connected to yourself. But action comes from inside, of you, and an awareness of your experience, an awareness of what is healthy for you, an awareness of ultimately what you want and how you want to be, and how can you be served in your life through your relationships and through the things that you do in your life. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what self is, some of the pieces of it, so you can understand it. So you'll have a reference, and when I'm talking about building a relationship with yourself, you'll have some idea when you ask yourself, well, what is self anyway? Because again, you ask 100 different people what self is, you're going to get 100 different answers. It's very, very hard to talk about. It's very amorphous. It's hard. You can't put your finger quite on it. So it's kind of abstract, but it's still very, very real and very, very powerful inside of you. It's your gift. It's your key to aliveness and intimacy and connection and meaning and purpose in your life. So, okay, that's yourself. So hopefully this will awaken some of yourself for you, and you'll appreciate it, and you could transform your whole experience of your life right now by becoming aware of bringing this up into aliveness, bringing it into your experience consciously, and letting it awaken, and you claim it and be it. Okay, so that's going to be it about the self right now. So please, if you have any comments or questions, you want any clarification, you want to talk more about it, you have different meanings and things that you have to say about self, please ask me, let me know. I want to dialogue with you. So, yeah, you could also, very easy to go to the website and write down some of the comments. There's a place on the website for you to do that. So until then, until I see you again, be well. The quality of your relationships is the quality of your life.